What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of GB Sports Podcast. It is your host, Flick. I'm here with C Vegs.
Yo.
A couple topics that we're going to be talking about in today's podcast. We're going to go over the MVP talk, a few topics on overreactions, not overreactions as always. And then we're going to jump into our biggest surprises, biggest disappointments. Let's hop right into it. All right, so MVP talk. At the end of week 3, the MVP favorite was Tua after that record-breaking game that they had. Heading into week 5, after losing to their divisional game to the Bills, we are seeing a new MVP favorite, and that is Josh Allen.
You think he deserves to be the MVP favorite?
I narrowed this down to 3 people. Tua, Allen, and you can't forget about Patrick Mahomes. Right now, I still think statistically on their own, I think Tua is still the favorite in my eyes. I mean, he's got 1,300 yards, he's got 9 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Josh Allen's not trailing him though. 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions with 1,000, a little under 1,100 yards. But as a team, Josh Allen and the Bills are looking like the new best team in the AFC.
I don't know, man. I got 3 people for my favorites for MVP, and only one of them is on that list. I got Josh Allen. I have Baker Mayfield, and I have
Baker.
Yeah, I got Baker Mayfield, and I got Christian McCaffrey.
We're talking MVP. You know that, right? Baker?
Yeah, I know what we're talking about. Yeah. You see what he did against the Saints?
I did.
Yeah.
But are we not talking about what? Go ahead.
Three touchdowns, 246 yards, only 1 interception. I mean, I get it. But the Bucks are 3-1.
The MVP. And you're giving me Baker Mayfield in this conversation.
MVP.
I love what Baker's doing. Don't get me wrong. We are seeing possibly the best Baker that we've seen since entering the league. But MVP, you're putting him in the MVP conversation? I don't know, man.
Just say Josh Allen's stats again.
Josh Allen is 1,048 yards, 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Baker is 882 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And they're 3-1, same record.
Did they beat the best team in the league? Because they lost to whoever's in their way in the NFC. They lost to the Eagles.
They didn't have Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
I mean, and arguably, when you talk about the Dolphins, you don't talk about their defense. All you do is talk about how explosive their offense.
They had the best offense, and I will give you that their defense is very lackluster. Very.
And thank God Josh Allen remembered he had Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I agree. I've said it in the past that without a top receiver like that, Josh Allen wouldn't shine as much as he does. For sure. But this offense has added something that they've never had before. Their run game, and with the addition of James Cook as a good pass option and running back, they've never had a good running core like that. That's why they forced Josh to run a lot in previous years. But we'll see how the Bills defense does. I know they're missing Tre'Davious White now. He's out for the season. Jordan Poyer's battling his knee injury, so we'll see if that damages their defense to 2 solid defensive players on the end. But overall, the Bills are just offensive and defensively, just I think the best AFC team.
Yeah, but if you're going by team, I get it. But if you talk about just like what MVP is most valuable, right? So
Right.
who's gonna be more valuable? Is Baker more valuable to be 3-1? The Bucks.
I'd still take Josh Allen as a more valuable player than Baker Mayfield.
I
But
don't
if
think
we're
so.
talking that, I still favor Tua a lot. Um, if we're talking player wise,
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think Tua is. I think you can put any decent quarterback on that team, any decently accurate quarterback, and you have so many weapons on that offense that I mean I don't see it.
I mean, you're acting like Baker doesn't have a bunch of weapons. Does Baker not have a great wide receiving core? Mike
Like who?
Evans and Chris Godwin.
I think both of them have severely underplayed this season.
I mean, Mike Evans is easily good for 1,000 yards every year. Has ever since he entered the league.
I mean, he only
1,000
had
plus
40
yards.
yards, and he had
He,
40 yards
he got injured.
on Sunday.
He,
And even then, Chris Godwin had he had 11 targets, not one touchdown.
I don't know. Bringing Baker into this conversation is kind of odd to me.
I just think Baker is right now. I think he's playing better than most. I think he's in the top 5 quarterbacks as far as like his play this year. I mean, I think he's playing better than Justin Herbert.
Ah, I don't know about that.
And Brock Purdy's special, but
I
let's not
think
act like Brock.
no.
I,
Don't.
I don't
I,
think
I'm
I
giving.
don't think Brock Purdy. I don't think Brock Purdy's not even. I don't even think he's the most valuable on his team.
No, I'm taking Brock Purdy any day
Oh,
of the week.
Christian McCaffrey's killing right now, man.
Is and I would love to bring him into this, but we all know this is a quarterback favored. The last running back
It's
to win was
quarterback
AP,
favorite,
right?
but
You know, I mean,
but he can do it. I
he
mean, he was
he
even
can. He can.
he got a receiving touchdown on Sunday.
He did, bro. Listen,
Yeah,
if we can give him this award, I would love it. I would not be disappointed with CMC getting an MVP. It's just it doesn't work in the favor, man. I'm telling you, it's just a quarterback favored. Sadly, it's a quarterback favored award.
I think I would right now if I had to give it to anybody, I would say Josh Allen. I mean, he would start out pretty shaky.
He did. He turned it around
He
though.
started out pretty yeah, he started out pretty shaky. But if I'm throwing out some dark horses in there, I'm definitely dark horse and Christian McCaffrey and Baker Mayfield.
Hey, I'd love to see it, but Christian McCaffrey, obviously, I'd love to see it, but I think Baker's easily one of the best, most improved players, if not the best, most improved player from last year to this year, easily.
Who?
Baker,
Baker? Yeah, Baker's definitely most improved.
yeah, easily.
I would say I mean I think he's definitely he's playing one of the top 7 quarterbacks in the league as far as play goes.
Yeah,
You're gonna put Brock Purdy in there. I would have put Baker right
I
now
I would
over
take
Brock.
Brock. I would take Brock Purdy over Baker.
I just think we haven't seen. I mean, either one we haven't seen a lot of. I just think Brock has more weapons.
Season's still young. You never know. These odds could change next week. Our whole look on this could change next week. So we'll see what goes on MVP wise. All right, next topic, we're going to jump into it. Will the Dolphins break the single season scoring record? The single season scoring record is held by the Houston Oilers in 1961 with a total of 513 points. As of right now, going into week 5, the Dolphins are at a total of 151 points. Chris, do you think that their offense and how it's been these first 4 weeks will continue that trend on breaking that all-time season record?
I don't think so. I think at some point, um, I think Tua is not going to be as accurate all year long. I think at some point his size is going to start to show to be a problem uh, for them. And I mean they got a lot of weapons, but I think at some point Tua is going to start to dial back. I think he had a lot to prove at the beginning of the year because of all his injuries last year. So he came out firing, but I think at some point he's gonna fall off a little bit.
Really? I don't know, man. I like to disagree, man. I mean, we look at what we did. They put up 70. granted it was the Broncos, but they put up 70 without Waddle. Um, with full with a full team, an offense like that, and I think this offense is still one of the best in the league. They went up against a good defense that we saw. Other than that game in Week 4 against the Bills, I mean, their offense has just put up incredible numbers. Whether they're missing a key point of their offense or not, they're still putting up a lot of numbers.
I mean, their schedule is kind of favorable. Um, I mean, they have the Giants, Panthers. I mean, they got the Eagles. The Eagles, I think, is going to be a lower scoring game for them.
Eagles do have a good defense, so that
Yeah,
would definitely be a lower scoring game for them for sure on that one.
I think the Chiefs are going to rout them.
Chiefs
I
have
think
a
it's going to be I
good
think it's going
defense
to be a
too.
little bit of the same way. I think they're going to get hit, 40 something to 20 again. I think they're going to get hit by that. And then they got Jets. I mean, might as well just not even show up to that one and get a win.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, you saw what the Jets did against the Chiefs, man.
I mean, they
It was a
still
good
lost,
battle.
they lost, and that was arguably the worst we've ever seen Pat Mahomes. That was the worst we've ever seen him, and they still put up 23. It's not gonna happen again.
Right.
It's just, I mean, and that was the best we've ever seen Zach Wilson.
That is
That's a problem. That's a problem.
yeah.
So I mean, talk about the Kwame Brown of the NFL. Well, yeah. So I mean, they got the Jets, Cowboys. Cowboys got, I mean, arguably the best defense in football. Ravens and then Bills again. Those last three games are gonna be
It's tough.
brutal.
Yeah. So if
Cowboys,
they're close
Ravens,
to
and
breaking the
Bills.
record, I mean, it's gonna be hard to finish it with that schedule at the end there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't see them pulling it off. I just can't see it happening because I mean he's gonna get outplayed by Lamar Jackson. He's gonna get outplayed by Josh Allen. Um, I mean the defense of the Cowboys was gonna outplay him, not Dak. And then the rest is kind of hit or
Tyreek and
miss.
Mika Parsons, though they've been chatting at each other.
I
I,
know,
I
but
love it.
I know, but I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's not Tyreek that I'm worried about. It's Tua. I just don't. Uh, Either I don't believe he's gonna stay healthy all season, or I just don't think. I mean, he's a smaller quarterback.
He's good. Like whether the offensive line is working or not, man, he's just so good off the scramble, off the run. I mean, he just makes it happen. I don't know. I think he's a talented quarterback, and I'm hoping that he stays healthy all year. And I don't know. I think we can see that this year. So we'll see what the Dolphins do up against this record that they are on pace to break in from 1961. All right, next topic we're going to jump into, as we always do every week, as we're going to jump into our biggest surprises, biggest disappointment. I'll start off with my biggest surprise here is going to be the way that these Houston Texans are looking this year, especially against a good defense like the Steelers, and just how amazing CJ Stroud is just playing this year as a rookie. I think he's in favor for offensive rookie of the year already. I'm calling that. I think that this is going to be a great year for him. So far this year, he has 1,212 yards, 6 touchdowns with 0 interception. Just recently breaking the record for most completions without interceptions. I mean, this kid is on fire. I think they have a great pick with him. They're heading in the right direction, and I just like the way the Houston Texans are looking.
I think for myself, the biggest surprise so far has got to be the Lions. I did not see the Lions coming in and being 3-1, and Jared Goff looking like a serious franchise QB. I mean, they're playing right now. They're playing lights out, man. They look tough. They just look really tough. They remind me a lot, like mentality wise, of the Bad Boy Pistons.
Yeah.
They're tough, man. They're tough. They're just a even if you even if you beat them, you're gonna feel it. Like you're taking an ice bath afterwards.
Yeah, especially coming into Lambeau Field, beating the Packers at home, which is crazy.
I don't think it's crazy. Jordan Love gets hit more than a pinky toe turning the corner. I mean, I think Jordan Love has no protection at all. Uh, and he's not that great right now. I mean, he needs more time, so I don't see them as a big win for them. But I mean, they're playing extremely well right now, other than having beaten the Packers.
This is their division this year, man. I mean, it's the first time we've seen the Lions take this division.
I mean, I could definitely see them in the championship game.
You're talking Super Bowl.
I'm talking Super Bowl.
Amen.
I think they just have the mentality for it. I think when you believe and you play like you believe, I think anything's possible.
So you're having them beat the Philadelphia Eagles,
I'm not saying they
the Dallas
could.
Cowboys,
I'm
the
not saying they will be.
49ers on the
I'm
way
not saying they
there.
will be. I personally would say like they could be there against the 49ers or the Eagles. One of those two. I think it could be Detroit versus, I mean, the Eagles or the 49ers. I think that could very well be the case.
Ooh, that's a tough road. That is a tough road right there.
It's a tough road, but I think it can be done. I think they believe they can do it.
Well, they better do more than believe.
I mean, they're playing like they can.
Yeah, they're playing great. I mean, but to put them up against three huge contending teams like that, I mean, put them up against Dallas defense, and we could be seeing a whole different team.
I mean, I think they are a contending team at this point.
Eh, contending though, maybe a wild card in the hunt. Is it contending though? I mean, that contending's top tier teams on those conferences. Well, wait, we'll see. We'll see what the Lions can do. I think they'll easily take the division between the Packers, the Bears, and the Vikings.
We'll see. I think they. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying that I could see it happening. If it happened, I would be like, okay, I saw it coming.
See, season's still young.
Who would you say is your biggest disappointment so far?
Man, I think everybody knows what my biggest disappointment is going to be.
It might be the
if,
same as
if
mine.
we're going to talk about these Chicago Bears, I say
Oh,
Chicago Bears that I love so much for some reason. What the hell? What the hell's going on? What's Matt Eberflus doing? I mean, to be up 28-7 on arguably, besides the Bears, the worst team in the league. To be tied ball game at 28 points. You got 3 minutes left, under 3 minutes. You're on the Denver 19. It's 4-1. And you don't kick a field goal because for some reason we're afraid of a 2-minute drive led by Russell Wilson. Kick the field goal. Why are we running the ball for no gain and having a turnover and having Will Lutz boot a 65-yard field goal on us to win? Man, ginormous disappointment in my Chicago Bears, man. I thought that was going to be the first win since October of 2022. Chris, we have not won a football game since October of last year.
yeah, it's pretty tough. That's why that might be the reason why I would say it's not a disappointment. Because it's just expected. Like they're
To
expected
be
to
up
be.
going into the half at 28-7, I mean, you got to think that you're with Justin Fields throwing 23 for 25, 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Man,
I mean, I think
it was
that
looking
in and
great.
of itself. I think that in it of itself is like a big surprise. I think that's like the highlight of the next 5 years for the Chicago Bears.
I
It's
could
gonna get better.
I could be wrong, but I think that was his first 300-yard game.
And his last. It's gonna be his last.
A lot of headaches that day, man.
At least for the Bears.
Oh,
I would say my biggest disappointment so far is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes, that was one that was up there too. To be honest,
I
if I wasn't a
think
Chicago Bears fan, that would have been mine.
I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals almost look as bad as the Bears. I mean, Joe Burr went south for the winter.
He's
I mean,
cold.
he's cold. I mean, he's cold, but he's cold in a bad way.
Not in the cold we know Joe Burr to be like.
No, they look awful. Jamar Chase, he's done. He looks like he's ready to go. They look so bad. They look so. I mean, and when your offense sucks, your defense sucks even more.
And they have a
They can't.
stacked defense too.
I'm telling you, they can't stop a parked car right now. It looks awful. They look awful. And this was a team that was. I mean, they were close. They were
A play away.
they were a play away
We're going to
from
the
being
Super
in the
Bowl.
Super Bowl, and
Yeah.
I would have.
They could have won. They could have
I
won.
would have picked them to win.
Absolutely.
So from them to go from that to this
To what we're seeing.
monstrosity of a team that
Yeah.
we're watching right now, this is awful.
It's painful.
I've never seen a fall off this high. I mean, they might have some time to fix this. I don't see it.
Yeah, I know Joe's battling that calf injury. He doesn't look terrible. He just does not look Joe Burrow. He does not look like the bag he got in the offseason.
Well, I'm not gonna give him the injury because he got the bag. So if he's got the bag and he's out there playing, it's because he can play. So he's got the money. It's guaranteed for the most part. He can sit. If he's hurt, he'll sit. And if he's playing, he's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Yeah, and it's not like he doesn't have the weapons he did last year. Great wide receiving core. You
I think if
know,
anything, they invested in their O line this year,
they did.
and even then, he still got sacked 3 times.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what they have going on over there in Cincinnati, but it just looks dysfunctional. It looks really bad.
It looks
And
like 6 years ago Cincinnati.
yeah, they went from possibly playing in the Super Bowl to probably playing in the Bubble Bowl for SpongeBob.
And
It looks terrible. It looks terrible.
and this is not the first time on our podcast that they have been our most disappointment. Like they've been our biggest disappointment, I think, 2 or 3 times so far, man. Like
They're probably going to be my biggest disappointment all year until they
every
start winning.
week.
Yeah, until they start winning, until Joe Burrow stops throwing up goose eggs. I mean, he's throwing up donuts up there. He's got enough donuts to start his own Krispy Kreme right now. It's bad, man. It's bad. I can't believe what I'm watching from one of the top 3. I mean, people coming into the season were saying, "Who's the best quarterback, Joe Burrow
He was in there conversation every time.
or Pat Mahomes? Pat Mahomes or Joe Burrow?"
Right.
And he got paid, and he was like, "I'm out. I don't want to play football anymore." He might pull a Jordan and go play baseball because I don't see it. I don't see him. I don't see him being any better this year. I think at some point, like you said, if he is really that hurt, I think to some point he'll come to the decision to sit. And if he sits, I mean,
Right.
good luck.
Yeah, if he sits, it's gonna really damage their season this year if it's not already too late. But to give somebody all that money, you're gonna want to think long term, obviously, to give him that much money. So I mean, if he's battling this injury, he's got to either figure it out now. Listen, am I gonna play to my full capability or am I gonna sit? You gotta make that decision.
I agree.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. That concludes today's episode. A little quick mention that this will be the last GB Sports podcast. Be on the lookout for our new rebrand into Gomi Talk. On all social medias, we will be under a new name. It's going to be the same great content, same two doing the same thing we do every week, just under a new brand. It's going to look a lot more clean. So be on the lookout for that on all social medias. Appreciate everybody for tuning into this episode, and we will catch you guys next week.
Take care, everyone.